Hi, my name is Esperanza Paulo, and the intervention approach I'll be demonstrating today is the solution focused brief therapy, or SFBT. This approach focuses on identifying client strengths, exploring solutions, and building on existing successes rather than analyzing problems in depth. SFBT is future oriented and emphasizes small, achievable steps towards change. The client I'll be talking to today is Marcus. Marcus is a 32-year-old veteran who has recently secured stable housing after experiencing some housing instability. While this is a significant achievement, Marcus reports difficulty maintaining employment. He describes a pattern of obtaining jobs but struggling with motivation, which leads to inconsistent attendance and eventual job loss. Hi, Marcus. Can you see or hear me? Okay,
Yeah, I got you.
great. I can see and hear you clearly too. Uh, if we run into any weirdness or like frozen screens, cutouts, we'll just pause and reset. No big deal.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi acts up sometimes, so that might happen.
Same here. So we'll just run with it as if nothing happened, if that does happen. Thanks for logging in today. I know making it to this appointment, even a virtual one, takes effort.
Honestly, I almost didn't click join, but I'm here.
I'm glad that part of you that clicked join won today, even if it was a close race.
Barely, but yeah.
Before we get into anything, are you in a place where you feel comfortable talking? No one can overhear that you're worried about?
Yeah, I'm in my room with the door closed. It's fine.
Perfect. So this is your time and your space, and even though we're on screen, you know your life best. And my role is to listen, ask questions, and help us focus on what is working, and what you want to be different. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay. To get us started, what feels most important for us to talk about today?
I feel stuck. I finally got housing, which is good, but I can't seem to keep a job.
So housing has come together, that's good. And at the same time, the job piece still feels shaky.
Yeah, like one big part of my life is finally not a disaster, but the other part still is.
That sounds frustrating. Getting a housing stable is a huge deal though. And now you're just bumping up against this work pattern thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you say you can't keep a job, walk me through what usually happens. Think about the last job you had.
Um, I, g- I can get hired. That's not the hard part. But after a while, I lose motivation. I start missing days, and then I just stop going.
Hmm. So the challenge isn't getting in the door, it's staying steady once you're there.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you picture a typical day when things are starting to slip, what does that look like from the moment you wake up?
So I sleep through my alarm, then I wake up late. I feel like crap and think, what's the point? Sometimes I'll call in, but sometimes I just don't.
On those mornings, it's like the day is already off track before you even get started.
Yeah, exactly.
And in your head, you've got those what's the point thoughts playing on repeat, right?
Yeah, they're pretty loud.
Given what you've been through housing instability and everything from your time in the military, it makes sense that your energy and motivation get worn down. The fact that you're here on video talking about it says there's also a part of you that wants something different. That's good.
Yeah, I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over.
That makes a lot of sense. If it's okay with you, I'd like to ask you a kind of an unusual question that can help us figure out what different would actually look like in your life. Is that all right?
Sure, go ahead.
Imagine that tonight, after we end this call, you go about your evening and eventually go to sleep. When you're asleep, a miracle happens. The problem of not being able to keep a job is solved. You don't know the miracle happened because you were sleeping. When you wake up tomorrow morning, right there where you're sitting now, or in your room, or even living room, what is the very first small sign that tells you things are different?
Um, I'd actually get up when my alarm goes off.
So the alarm goes off on your phone, and instead of hitting snooze or ignoring it, what do you see yourself doing?
I just get up, no arguing with myself. No, I'll just lay here a little longer.
Hmm. That alone sounds like a pretty big shift. On this miracle morning, what happens next?
I think I'd take a shower, get dressed, maybe make some coffee, actually eat something instead of just grabbing nothing.
As you picture yourself doing that, how are you feeling?
I would say more focused, not dragging so much, less dread.
More focused, less dread. If someone close to you got a text or a call from you this morning, maybe your sister, what would they notice that's different?
Um, she more than likely would notice that I sounded more positive, not complaining as much, not making excuses.
So your tone is lighter and more hopeful. After that morning routine, what does the rest of your day look like on this miracle day?
I would actually go to work on time, stay the whole shift. I talk to people a little instead of just being in my own little bubble, consolidated.
More engaged, more present, not just surviving the day. If you had a couple of weeks with more days like that, what might be different for you a month from now?
Probably I'd still have the job. I might feel like I'm actually building something instead of starting over again.
Hmm. Still employed, feeling like you're building something. That sounds really important.
Yeah, that's kind of the dream I have.
Let's put this miracle version of things on a scale. Imagine 10 is the day you just described, getting up, going to work, feeling more focused, steady, and a 0 is the worst things have ever been with work. Where would you say you are right now at this moment on that 0 to 10 scale?
Hmm, probably say I'm at a 4.
A 4? What tells you you are at a 4 and not like a 1 or a 2?
Well, I mean, I'm still trying. I got my own place now. I'm still applying for jobs. I haven't completely checked out, so that's good.
Hmm. You've got housing, you're still applying, and you showed up to this video session, even though part of you wanted to not do that and kind of bail. Those are small things. Those are not like tiny things. They're small, but they're not tiny.
Yeah, I guess that's the true statement.
What else are you doing? Even something small that helps keep you from sliding lower on that scale.
Um, I try to keep my place from getting too messy. If it gets like really bad, I feel worse. So I try to at least keep it in an okay condition.
So you're paying attention to your space and how it affects your mood. That's actually a big piece of self-care, even if it doesn't always feel like it.
Wow, never thought of it like that.
Yeah, sometimes the ordinary stuff doesn't get credit, but it matters. Um, think back over the last few years. Can you remember a time when things with work were even a bit better than they are now?
Say last year I had a job for about 3 months, the longest I've kept one for a while.
3 months is significant. What was different during that time?
Um, I had more structure. I was waking up earlier. My sister was checking in on me more. I wasn't staying up late on my phone like I usually do.
Hmm. So you had more consistent routine and more support, it sounds like.
Yeah.
How would you say that routine helped you?
Um, Once I was up and moving, it was easier to just go. I didn't have to overthink anything and just sit there.
So less time for your brain to talk you out of going, sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. If I sit and think too long, I can talk myself out of pretty much anything.
You and your brain make a very persuasive team.
Yeah, unfortunately.
See. Looking at the 3 month stretch, what strengths do you see in yourself that maybe you haven't really given yourself credit for?
Um, I can be disciplined when I want to be, and I can stick with something for a while.
Discipline and the ability to stick with something, those are important strengths. And I'm glad you recognize them in yourself. And they're not hypothetical. You've already actually done this.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go back to the scale. You said you're at a 4 right now. If moving up to a 5 over the next week or two was possible, what would let you know you'd reached a 5?
I'd have to say I'd be waking up earlier, not sleeping until 11, and maybe I'd have applied to a few more jobs instead of putting it off.
So a 5 might look like early wake ups and some consistent job searching action. Out of those, what feels like the most realistic step for this week?
Uh, I would say definitely waking up earlier.
What time would earlier mean for you?
Uh, Probably around 7:30 in the morning.
Okay. How many days this coming week would you feel like a real challenge but still doable?
I could probably aim for 3 days this week.
3 mornings at 7:30. What can you do the night before to make those mornings more likely?
I could put my phone across the room, set the alarm, and try to go to bed earlier, like midnight instead of 2 or 3 in the morning.
That sounds like a solid plan. On a scale of 0 to 10, how confident do you feel about being able to do that? 3 mornings at 7:30 with the phone across the room and a midnight bedtime.
I would say probably around a 7.
A 7 is pretty strong. What makes it a 7 and not a 4?
Because I know I can do it if I actually decide to. I've done it before.
Yeah, that's important. One thing that might bump that confidence up just a bit, maybe from a 7 to an 8.
Uh, Maybe if I tell my sister so she can text me in the morning and bug me about it.
That sounds like a great support. Do you want to include that in the plan?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell her.
Nice. So, plan is 3 mornings at 7:30 this week. Phone across the room, aiming for a bed by midnight, and your sister on a wake up team duty.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Okay, let's try it. So, before we wrap up, I want to reflect what I've heard. You've gone through a lot: military service, housing instability, job challenges, and you've still found ways to keep going, get housed, show up here today. You're not starting from scratch, you're building on things you've already done.
No, you put it like that. That sounds a little better than just get your life together.
It's much more accurate, too. Given everything we talked about, how are you feeling right now compared to when we first logged in?
Mm, I'll say I'm still pretty nervous, but less stuck. A little more hopeful, I would say.
Awesome. Nervous and more hopeful can be a good mix. Let's plan to check in next session about how those 3 mornings went. What worked, what didn't, and what you notice about yourself when you follow through.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Great. Thank you for being honest with me today and for staying on the call today, even when it wasn't easy. I'll see you at our next session.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Marcus. Bye.